Good evening and welcome to Friday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Brazil. Brazil's northernmost state of Roraima is suffering a sharp spike in wildfires, threatening a crisis-racked Yanomami indigenous people and reigniting fears of catastrophe in the Amazon rainforest after months of improved deforestation data. In just 2 months of this year, the National Institute of Space Research, INPE, identified 2,606 fires in Roraima compared with 2,659 during all of 2023. In February alone, there were at least 2,002 outbreaks in Roraima, an all-time record. Since the beginning of the year, the state has accounted for 29.5% of all fires in Brazil, according to INPE data. At least 251 blazes have been recorded on Yanomami land, bringing fresh suffering to the indigenous people facing a humanitarian crisis due to illegal miners on their land. Quote unquote, since last year, we've been feeling this big change. Air humidity is very low, and this has also led to problems with illness in families, especially children, and the heat is really abnormal, end of quote. Tuxawa Cesar de Silva, an indigenous leader from the Tabla Scada community. Brazil's federal government held meetings in the state capital Boa Vista on Thursday to coordinate a response. Environment Minister Marina Silva blamed the blazes on a quote-unquote terrible combination in the quote of El Nino, a climatic phenomenon weakening rainfall in the region, as well as arson and climate change. He said state and federal officials should have been better prepared to deal with the blazes, as it was widely expected that they would occur after a bruising drought last year. Quote unquote, once a climate is as dry as it is, as hot as it is, it's also a time when there's more wind, all of which feeds the fire and makes it very difficult to put it out, he said. While in St. Martin, a minor is among two persons arrested in St. Martin for an armed robbery incident in which a female victim was hit in her head with a firearm. The incident occurred early on Friday in the vicinity of a gentleman's club in Maho. Police received a report that two young men had approached a group of women walking in the area and, under threat of a firearm, proceeded to rob them of their belongings. During the robbery, one of the suspects assaulted a female victim by striking her on the head with a firearm. Following the robbery, the suspects fled the scene in a vehicle and were pursued by police. The suspects then abandoned the vehicle and fled into nearby bushes. Officers searched the vehicle, and the firearm along with other items related to the robbery were discovered and seized for further investigation. Later in the day, the individuals believed to be the occupants of the vehicle voluntarily contacted the police station, expressing their intention to surrender. One of the suspects was identified as a minor. Both were subsequently arrested and are currently being detained at the police station pending further investigation. The St. Martin Police Force has condemned the actions of those involved in this crime. Finally, news from the United Nations. The Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, Benin, and Chad have formally notified the United Nations of their intent to contribute personnel to the international force to help Haitian National Police fight armed gangs, a UN spokesman said on Thursday. Contributions of $10.8 million have also been deposited into a trust fund to support the multinational security support mission. UN spokesman Stefan Dujarric said, adding that further pledges of $78 million had also been made. The United Nations Security Council authorized in October a foreign security mission to Haiti a year after the Caribbean country asked for help to fight violent gangs that have largely overrun its capital, Port-au-Prince. The 50-member council's resolution requires countries to inform UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres of their participation in the security mission. While approved by the Security Council, the mission is not a UN operation. The response to Haiti's request for help was delayed due to a struggle to find a country willing to lead a security assistance mission. Kenya stepped forward last year with a pledge of 1,000 police, but a local court barred the move as unconstitutional. Kenyan President William Ruto has said the plan was a go-ahead, however, it was not yet notified by Guterres. Dujarric said Benin has said it plans to send about 1,500 personnel. It was not yet immediately clear how many personnel the remaining 4 countries have pledged. Separately, the United Nations said some 5.5 million people in Haiti, half the population, need humanitarian assistance, and it is appealing for 674 million in 2024. Last year, the UN only received a third of the money it requested, said UN Humanitarian Coordinator for Haiti, Ulrika Richardson. I'm Dacia Richards. Thank you for watching. Until next time.